Am I now just talking to myself in the abyss? Well, you're supposed to be on with me talking casually. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Top Music Attorney podcast. That's me. I'm the attorney. Hi, Miss Krystle. Let me know in the chat as you guys are filing in. We're broadcasting all the places, but let me know how we're sounding, how we're looking. We're having some technical funness happening. So anyway, we're here. You know what I'm saying? It's Thursday, and you guys have accomplished so much this week. You've done so much. You're stressed to pieces. You're excited about Friday because that means it's Saturday and Sunday, and you're thinking about chocolate because I am thinking about chocolate. I don't think about chocolate very often. You know what I'm saying? But today just seems like a day where you need some chocolate. So if anyone has chocolate, please let me know. But until then, we're going to be talking about all things music business related. So let me give you a quick rundown of the show for those of you who are not watching right now on Top Music Attorney YouTube. For example, we just started broadcasting over on Instagram. So hello, everyone on Instagram. Please come over to the YouTube channel so you can ask your questions here. If you watch on that platform, that's fine as well. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff on social media and, posting things and trying different types of content, and I think you guys are liking it. But anyway, so I'm getting back to more of like my fun, playful lawyer stuff that I do because I got really far into just giving you tons of like value and trying to, educate you every single day, and we're still doing all of that. Hello, where are you checking in from? What time is it? But yeah, so we're doing some other fun things, which means I'm at my law office throughout the week and just being, a crazy woman while we're all trying to work because who doesn't want to do that? So come over to Top Music Attorney on YouTube. Hello, glad you can be here. All right, let's try to get this going. Okay, so anyway, so today we're going to be covering a whole bunch of things. We have Taylor Swift in the news. So she's on her Eras tour right now, and she's actually going to be coming to the big screen. And this is kind of fun because for anyone who is a Swiftie, a Taylor Swift fan, we cover her all the time on this channel, but her shows are just out of control. She is, heading towards the billions of dollars in gross revenue for her tour. She's still doing her thing for a couple more months, but they're like, why not bring Taylor Swift to AMC? So it's going to be like this big extravaganza where you go to the movies, and I think you're getting like special popcorn and cups and all kinds of fun things. So in any case, we will be talking about what's happening, how you can be a part of it. Also, 50 Cent, he's now being investigated for criminal battery. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Cardi B, we covered, she was performing live and she told fans to like throw water at her. And so a little bit later in her set, someone else in the audience threw water again. So she didn't request it. It was like a different, more antagonistic throwing of the water. Anyway, so in response, Cardi B pelted, I think it's pelt. Anyway, she threw her microphone at this person's head. Okay, so something similar happened at a 50 Cent show. And what actually happened, way more serious as far as the actual injury that was sustained. There's pictures, there's video, there's all the things. So we're going to be talking about that. Hey, where are you guys checking in from? What time is it? 1 a.m. for my UK peeps. I was thinking about you earlier today. I was actually like having a moment and thinking about the people from the UK who check in and watch this show every week and just how much I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone who takes time to watch the show. And I'm just like, everyone's so busy. Everyone's so busy. But if you're taking time to say hi and to be here every week, I appreciate you. But I also do this live so that you can get your questions answered. So I appreciate you guys being here. All right. So anyway, besides that, the song Space Jam. I'm considering singing it. Maybe I'll wait till we get to the segment. I got to give you something, so you hang on. So the very famous song Space Jam, well, people are getting sued over it. And I had kind of a funny thing because I'm an investigator now, right? On this show, we report on breaking news, cutting edge everything. And so we'll talk about what's going on, but the company that owns this song has on their website, which I'll show you, and they're just like, you better license this. They've sued like 3 different people and or companies at this point. And so we're going to cover that. But anyway, on the website, it's like, well, you better not use our song without authorization. Don't use it on your social media, da da da, and contact us to get a license. So guess what I did? I'm like, I will. So I sent an email off and I did it from, my law firm and all very official. And I'm like, interested in licensing it? What's it gonna be? And I was just curious. I'm like, they're going so hard on this. Obviously, it's a good way to make money. And so I was kind of expecting a certain response, and I did get a response. And I'm gonna tell you what that response was. So you have to wait for that. And then lastly, we're gonna talk about Doja Cat. So she dropped the cover art for her upcoming release, and funny enough, it was the exact same cover art as a different band that released it some years ago. And so this came up in conversation actually today with some of my students who were kind of talking about when you hire people who make your cover art and like ways to stay protected. But like when stuff like this happens and they don't like deliver what you wanted, or they do deliver it, but they also gave it to someone else and they didn't tell you. So anyway, this literally happened to Doja Cat, so it's a perfect time to talk about it with you guys. Hey, yes, sing it. We'll see about that. Okay, we need to warm up. I'm in the process of listening to this new book. Let me tell you the name. I got it on my Audible. I always start my day by listening to Audible and learning something. It's Set Your Voice Free by Roger Love. It's a 12-hour book, and this guy's credentials are insane. He starts off the book and he's like, when I was working with like the Beatles and Angelina Jolie and Maroon 5, and I mean, he just like keeps going down the list. John Mayer. But anyway, so he's like the big guy in the industry that works with the celebrities. And so I'm listening to his book and he has some really interesting tips. And so all that to say, we're not going to sing just yet, but we'll see. Oh, right. Yes. And then with the cover art, Doja Cat's thing, we have both albums that were actually coming out at the same time. Oh, okay. So I thought one had already come out, but I guess not. So we'll have that Orko on to clarify all the things. For those of you watching on Instagram, hi, hi, hi. So glad to be doing this and checking in with you because we don't always have a chance to check in on the old IG. But yeah, all right. So then on the side of like music business specifically and getting help with your music business, your career, I'm going to cover 2 things. One, I'm going to talk about, well, and actually answer the question, do I own the copyright to my music if it is not registered with the Copyright Office? I'm going to answer that question and give you a rundown of what to do. And then secondly, we're going to talk about also in the, standpoint of cover art for albums, for CDs, how do you have a contract that protects you? What's the stuff that you need to look out for? I got you covered on all of that. All right, so in the music business realm, I hope you guys are here to learn. We do this live so that you can ask me questions as we go through. I'm happy to help you. And that's kind of why I do this show. If you ever want to check out kind of what I'm doing, just be sure to follow on social media on Top Music Attorney. I'm definitely the most active on IG, but you can find me everywhere. And then if you want to work with me, you can just DM me on IG, Top Music Attorney, or actually apply by going to topmusicattorney.com/apply. All right, so why don't we do this? Let's run the intro if I could find this. This is always, I don't know why I do this because I'm always like, it's time to run the intro, and then I need to go find it. I do find it though, so that's why I never bail from this job. This is an add-on of me being Madame Host. All right, here we go. So we're gonna run the intro. We'll be back. We have a couple things to talk about, and then we're just gonna jump into the show. So welcome to the Music Business Podcast. Let's go. Hi guys, I'm Top Music Attorney Miss Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and creator of the Top Music Attorney School for artists and record labels. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent artist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss my weekly videos giving you my best tips on the music business, industry news updates, and teaching you how to stay legally protected.
Let's go.
So you want to make sure that if you are following on the YouTube channel, make sure you have the bell notification turned on because we're releasing videos like every few days to help you. The last two that went out, we did a video talking about when you're doing collaborations and basically all the stuff that can go awry, how to avoid it. And then also, this is a big one, and this is why I did it, but it's, how to collect your unpaid royalties, right? Everyone's like, that's me. So if you are signed with a label or thinking that you might want to be signed with a label at some point, that's a good video. So turn on your notifications and go watch that later. Where are you guys checking in from? What time is it? What's up, Samantha? Glad that you could be here. You're welcome. Thank you for being on this live with me as well. Hey, yeah, Chris. So that's the thing. Like sometimes when people are like, "Oh, you need to do all this stuff, email us." I'm like, "Okay, I will." So I emailed them and we're going to talk about what they said, and they don't even know that I'm like going to a little bit put them on blast. But yeah. Yeah, so anyway, let's see what else. I don't even know. We're thinking about chocolate a lot. I'll see how many times I can mention that during this live stream. It's almost Halloween season. Are you guys getting dressed up? Last year, I think the show was a little too far away. Like it's a few days, from Halloween, and so I didn't dress up. If I do dress up for Halloween for a show, what should I do? I'll tell you, I'm gonna disclose something. I was talking to Orko the other night, and I go, you know what I should be for Halloween? I go, I'm gonna be, wait for it, a lawyer. But, obviously I'll dolly it up a little bit. I'll have like a suit and then I'll get like little triangles. You know what I'm saying? Like little horns to go on my shoulders. I think it's gonna be great. What are you guys gonna be for Halloween? Is it too early to have this conversation? I think not. Yes, Halloween every day. Indeed. I like you more and more. Yeah, or I could just be, a zombie lawyer. So yeah, I think we were all on the same page, generally speaking. All right, you're into it. Cool. All right, so why don't we get into a tip? We have so many stories to cover as far as what's going on in the news, and I'm just since we're doing this live, and you guys are literally like the only ones that see this, because we cut out the segments afterwards, and then we release them as separate videos. So I preluded. I'm like, okay, so I'm listening to this audiobook, and he's talking a lot about how many speakers and singers, their biggest problem is that they don't know how to breathe. I'm like, that's interesting. So Mr. Roger Love, he says that when you are talking, and you guys could even do this if you're like watching right now, you can put like your hand on your belly and say a phrase and be like, I'm so excited to be watching the Top Music Attorney podcast, or whatever phrase you want. And he goes, if you feel on your belly, just your stomach kind of slowly contract in, he goes, air is just kind of coming out of your body, and that's the proper way to speak. He goes, what pretty much everyone does is that we tense up, and we often tense up in our torsos. And so it'll be like, what was the phrase I said? This is the best show I ever have seen in my life. And so you tense up. And so he goes, that's why people can't speak for long periods of times or sing for long periods of times, because they're just like clenched in their body. And I go, I think that's me. Because especially at the end of the show, I'm always pretty much hoarse. And then that's because I've been talking all week. And I'm always like, oh, it's because I'm singing and I'm talking and all this stuff. And he's challenging my mindset. And he's like, no, no, no. You should be able to do all those things and have no pain and be able to just do it forever and ever and ever. And I go, okay, I think I'm clenching up. I think I'm stressed or something. So anyway, we're gonna practice. during this show, and we're going to try to relax our bellies and to not clench. So there we go. Now let's go into something where you guys can get educated. Do you own your copyright if you've not registered it with the Copyright Office? And the following question that I often get from my clients, I'm a real entertainment attorney. I do this all the time as far as enforcing copyrights, registering copyrights. The next question is usually, well, is my copyright and therefore my music protected? Well, if you have this question, I'm going to answer it in today's video. So, where I want to start is just by kind of going over the basics when it comes to copyright so you understand what we're talking about. So, copyright by definition are your wonderful ideas fixed into a tangible medium. Okay, so under the law, we're not just going to protect all your great ideas because that just would be extremely difficult. So, what the government has done is said, well, once you take your great ideas and you put it into some kind of tangible medium, right? So it could be like right here, I have a little, pen and pad. As soon as I write down my great lyrics, as soon as I record my melody into my phone, it's now in a tangible medium. And so, therefore, I now have copyright protection. So the government thought ahead and they go, we really want to empower people and protect people. So they're making great things and they are contributing towards the creative arts and development of science. So that's kind of the overall thinking. And so for us, that's great. So the baseline rule that we all need to know is copyright exists as soon as we make the thing. Okay. So then we're going back to the question of, well, if I haven't actually registered my copyright, though, how does that impact me? Do I lose my copyright? Can I not enforce my rights? Great questions. So we know about what's, essentially automatic copyright protection. Well, what happens is that if you don't actually get a registration, you are going to lose some benefits. So the government really wants to entice you to register your things, right? If you make a movie, if you make a song, if you write a script, if you write lyrics, anything creative. If you don't register it, you are going to lose some rights. So let's talk about what those benefits are that you are going to get by going through, taking the time, paying the fee to get an actual registration. So one of those things is just that there is now a public record. And what I like to say is that the Library of Congress, aka the Copyright Office, is just a glorified file keeping system. So some people they're like, well, if I put the wrong information on my application, or they're going to see it's the same name as someone else's song, am I going to get rejected? Well, there is a real human being looking at your application, but they're not analyzing it to be like, well, did you and Johnny really write that song? Right? So they're not going to examine it with that kind of scrutiny. But what they are going to look at is, did you put in the right information? Did you miss anything? So sometimes if you do make some little mistake, you'll get an email from the Copyright Office. But in any case, once you have filed with this glorified file keeping system, you now have a public record. And you can also do searches on the copyright website, which is copyright.gov, to search for other people's copyrights. Okay, so that's all good news. But something that a lot of people don't think about is when you see the actual copyright notice. So think maybe of a website. If you go to a website at the very bottom, very often it might show, the company's name or the website developer's name. So cool website developer name, and then there's the C in a circle, right? So that's also copyright management information. And you also get great protection just by having that and giving public notice to everyone in the world that you own that thing. So that's number one. Number two, we're talking about legal protection as far as your ability to do some serious damage if someone comes and steals your stuff, right? So as a not only entertainment attorney, but actually a copyright attorney, I sue people when they steal my clients, let's say music or films or whatever it is. And, we have to actually have the registration before we can sue. That's non-negotiable. You got to do it. But the timing of when you get your registration really matters. If you wait super long and it's like you released your song and like 10 years have gone by, you can still go and get the registration. That's okay. But what happens is that you lose some of the super awesome benefits that you get of registering the song, let's say right when it came out or even before it came out. And these are what we call statutory damages. So under, the law, the government's like, "Hey, here's a super great incentive. If you register your song by the time that you are releasing it or like within a few months, 3 to be specific, you can get what are called statutory damages." And this means that you can sue someone and get up to $150,000 per infringement, which is great news because, a lot of times if someone steals your song and they like distribute it, they make $1,000. Well, it's not going to do you much good to go hire an attorney, pay $50,000 in attorney's fees, and then get $1,000, right? So here you get not only statutory damages, so there's a pot of money there that's set by law, but you can also get your attorney's fees. So those two things go away if you wait too long to get your registration. So huge benefit there of actually getting it and getting it as soon as possible. But then also, some people are like, well, how can I, how do I prove? How do I prove that it's my copyright? Well, the proof that the government says is that piece of paper. There's a presumption of validity. And, I've seen some websites where they're talking about like, oh, if you upload your music to our platform, we'll put you in our super secret system and we'll be able to prove that you're the copyright owner. And I just laugh at this because it's very misleading, right? The government has already said it. There's a presumption you are the owner because you have the piece of paper. It's that simple. You don't have to go and pay anybody else. You just get the registration. And then also, if you want to get a little fancy on this, you can have international protection as well. There's the Berne Convention without going too far into it. But basically, a bunch of countries all got together and agreed to this treaty to basically say that if you do have your copyright, it will be respected and enforced in other countries as well. So, anyway, all super great things. So, then the question is, do you need to register your copyright? Well, I guess no, if you never intend on enforcing it. But again, with like some of these companies that will just promote to you and say, pay our service fee and upload your music, and we'll have a super awesome stamp and a piece of paper that says you're the owner. What I'm explaining is that in order to actually get a registration, you got to do it through the Copyright Office. There's no workaround, right? And you don't have to go and prove anything because you got the piece of paper, which is the presumption that you're the owner, right? So basically, you're going back to the original question of, well, do I own my copyright if I don't register? The answer is yes. Under the law, you have automatic copyright protection as soon as you make the thing, but it does not have the value of really what we're saying. The value is that if you need to enforce your copyright, you can go sue. You can only sue if you have the piece of paper. The value is that you can then get paid. Well, if you can only get your actual damages, okay, because you waited too long to actually get the registration, that's going to hurt you down the line. We want to get you statutory damages. We want to get you your attorney's fees. So it's not just getting the registration, but get it basically by the time you're releasing your music. Just make it part of what you do. And then there's the presumption that you're the owner. And, it's going to make your life a lot easier when it comes to actually enforcing your copyright because it's just a matter of when, not if, something's going to come up. So anyway, I hope you find this video helpful. Please give it a big thumbs up and share it with someone who can learn a couple of things so we can help them to grow. I did it. All right, to my editor watching, you have to splice that in a little bit. Anyway, so I hope you guys found that helpful. I was trying really hard to focus on my breathing. I think I do clench. I think when I talk, I clench my stomach, and I'm using like my stomach muscles, so it's causing tension. I don't know. Is anyone else feeling me on this? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Let me go back. What do we got? Oh, we got super chat. So where's Ripley? I need a Ripley on the screen. All your super chats go to give Ripley treats. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being part of this community. it's amazing that, we continue to grow and we've been doing this for a little while, but like my time horizon, I suspect, all right, Ripley's just like hanging out. Hello. Hello, let me touch you. um, I suspect that I will be plastered here doing the same thing for the next decade at least. So I am excited that you can be on this journey with me. All right, so back to Halloween for 2 seconds. We're gonna get into some news stuff. Baymax for Halloween? Mm. I say. Oh, Disney. Mhm, mhm. I gotcha. Mhm. All right, something about I agree with this, especially felt this after a period of stress. Breathing exercises are everything, but not just for singing, but for for staying grounded for sure. I kind of like to do this thing right now. It's so unbelievably hot, but at the end of the day, I always take a few minutes to go outside and I get sun, and you're supposed to get the sunlight in your eyeballs. Don't I am not an eye doctor. Please don't go looking at the sun. But basically, I'm reading that you basically look at this anyway. Don't trust my advice. This is my own research and weird things that I do. But yes, so we got the gavel. We got the gavel. All right, where are you guys checking in from? What time is it? And are you ready for some news? We're gonna bring in that Orko. Let's see what's going on. Hey. Uh-oh.
Hey, what's good? Uh-oh.
There's a real
We'll see how this
delay
all goes.
on my end.
Yeah, I'm telling you, my system has crashed twice during your news thing. So I don't know how this is all actually gonna go.
Shoot, we had you working right before we started the show. What happened?
Yeah, I'm no good. Hold on, let me refresh.
All right. All right, we're gonna try again. We're gonna try again. Look up. Yes, I did. You know what? It's funny. When I first did that, so Wim Hof's breathing exercises utilizes mouth breathing. And, with mouth breathing, it can cause, mild to more moderate hyperventilation because it's just a ton of oxygen hitting your bloodstream. Oh, he's back. Let's do a test.
Check, check, check. If it's no good,
Hey, that's good. That's
is that
good.
better?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how
No,
this
but
if it ends up not working. I'll just call in from my phone.
okay. Yeah, we should always have a backup plan. We're talking about Wim Hof. So he also popularized ice not baths. He does the real deal, but ice baths and then cold showers, which I very much got into for a while, but all of it is about just activating your nervous system, causing yourself to go into a state of stress, and then from there you calm down. And I like someone said this really well. They were explaining it's about challenging yourself, your nervous system every day so that all of the little stressors that come thereafter you will perceive as less stressful. And so this idea of like pushing yourself, working out in the morning, doing cold plunges, which I'm very much into. I've had issues with adrenal fatigue because I was also trying to do it when I had adrenal issues. So probably not the best idea, but generally I'm on board.
Very good.
All right, so even though this is not a health show, and we're gonna start getting into that stuff if I am
Hold
left to
on,
my own devices,
vamp, because I'm trying to do something. I'm still trying to set something up real fast.
we got a Ghostbuster for Halloween.
Yeah, you were talking about Halloween. I
Mm-hmm.
wish we lived in California sometimes so we could do that Universal Studios Hollywood Horror Nights. That stuff looks so awesome. They've been releasing crazy stuff about that and it looks so cool. So expensive, but
Mm-hmm. We got Sean sun gazing. Yes, there really is something. They're like, don't wear sunglasses when you go outside in the morning or if it's night because it's gonna reset your was it what is it?
internal clock.
Yeah, Arcadian rhythm. Is that what it's called? Anyways, but you have to actually get the sunlight in your eyes. So sunglasses are a no-no. I think the first time I told you, I was like, I have to go look at the sun. You're like, you're gonna go blind. What is wrong with you? Samantha has a great question. Let's see. Someone else can always claim copyright and make you remove it from your own material, can't they? If there was a safe way to add stuff like that. Well, they can't make you remove copyright unless it's their copyright. right? So I would need to see what the factual circumstances were for that. So for example, when it comes to like AI, if you don't disclaim the AI created material in your whatever, a song, cover art, then if the copyright office finds out later, they can actually cancel your copyright registration. So there's ways and mechanisms that you can get copyrights canceled, but there's an actual process. You have to go through the administrative body, which is the Copyright Office. Hey, all right, I'm a little behind on the chat. Sorry, guys. Can we get more kitty reels on social media? Because I need to. You know what? I think we need to go ahead and just have Ripley on my social media. And I've been showing you guys some fun stuff lately. Here, well, while we're killing a few minutes for that Orko to figure out his life, let me just show you what we've been doing on social media and how I spend my days at the office. I was talking to someone and I was like, I keep waiting until the end of my workday to make content. So, I'll get up at whatever, 5 or 6 a.m. and I'm like doing my hair and my makeup and I'm getting all whatever with the anticipation that I'm going to be making content in like 9 hours, which, probably isn't ideal. But here, let me share this. So I'm now week 2 into doing this. Yeah, here. So here is Top Music Attorney on Instagram, right? So the red stuff, I did like bulk
Yeah,
content
that's good. I like
creation.
the outfit.
I think so. This was my daily affirmation. This is to a Cardi B song. So little spicy, little fun. I did that morning at the crack of dawn because I do this in real time as I'm actually getting ready for my day. I just put my phone up and I do it. So it's just like a 5-minute thing, no big deal, which is a challenge in itself because when you're making content, you want to control everything and you have
You
to
wanna
just
go
go
back
with
and
it.
look at it, and you wanna check it. You're like, "Oh, I might have blinked one too many times, so I gotta redo
Yeah,
it," or
and you cannot be perfectionistic. You have to go with it. And
yeah,
then this was a photo shoot that I did, so we would have all the new thumbnails for the YouTube videos that you guys see. We haven't rolled any of these out yet, but
they're
we
coming though.
we posted it, and then this is probably my favorite. So there's audio, and he's like, "Good morning," and I'm like, "Shut up, leave me alone." And then me with coffee, oh, feeling so good. And then the guy says, "Good morning," and I say, "Shut up."
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah,
It's pretty accurate.
I'm wonderful with and without coffee. Basically, is what
Yes.
that stands for.
Yes, you're a darling.
All right, yeah, you sound fine. You're a little grainy, but let's roll with it.
Oh, no. It's been quiet. So we can make a big decision. I can either call in from my phone if it doesn't look good or if I'm off. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna be much better, or I can,
Hmm.
just let you handle it.
What do you mean? You're gonna ditch me for the show? Is that what you're
Well, if my
saying?
quality is no good, it's no good.
You look okay on my end, guys. In the chat, does he look? Is this passable? That's what he's saying. He wants to abandon me,
Well, if
and
it
I
doesn't look
don't.
good. So let me check on my phone. Let me make sure, because I mean,
Yeah.
this is this.
On my side, you look okay. You sound okay. So I say we roll with it.
Everyone says it's good. So all right, let's give it a shot.
I grew up watching the sunrise, riding the bus to school. Oh, I love that. I don't I
Yeah,
don't
no,
recommend,
that's
but like
right.
when I was going to college, I would get up at like 4 and then I would go work out. And so but I would get to school by the time the sun was rising. And it was such a magical thing because A, no one was ever there, but B, it was just like this moment and this beautiful, top tier of the library and you saw the sun coming up and you like had hope for life. Anyway, sorry. Let's get into it.
It's too much. It's too much. Your schedules and your endurance for your schedules to get yourself up super early if you don't need to, and working out, and I got to do my daily affirmations or my meditation. Like, you wake up early to get all your stuff done just to go so hard. So I got respect for it. I can't relate, but I got respect for it.
Oh, you know what? You should be able to relate. Let's get more of that. What do you say? Yeah, it's telling me my internet is having all kinds of trouble,
Yeah,
so I don't
you just
know.
got a little pixelated.
We're just going with it. So let me go down here. Yeah, all my comments in the chat just disappeared, so I'll rely on you to bring any on that you want.
Okay.
All right, so 50 Cent is being investigated for criminal battery, and I'll lead with this. Do you remember Cardi B? We covered that she was performing and she ended up throwing her microphone pretty aggressively into the audience. Someone was kind of antagonizing her, and so there was that. But in this case, we had a similar thing happen. Now, I want to bring this up so we can kind of watch it in real time to see the progression of events and just try to figure out basically for the person's face that 50 Cent's microphone connected with. Was he intending to actually throw it at this person? Was it an accident? It's a little bit unclear. So let's go to TMZ has some good footage. Let's figure this out. It's taking a second to load, so we need a BAMF.
I think it looked like on my end, it looked like you got a little glitchy on the thing. So I don't know if it's when you're trying to bring in the video, something happened.
Yeah, it's a little
There's this extra,
fuzzy.
you guys are getting some behind the scenes stuff. There's an extra window up in Restream that I don't know why is up. You have three, we have you, we have me, and then there's another one. It looks like you're trying to share the screen, but it's just the Restream screen. There you go.
Yeah, it's struggling real hard right now.
What are you
So
trying to show? Let me see if I can pull it up.
it's just the TMZ video of what happened.
You guys are really getting it today. It's been all right, hold on.
All right, no, I got it. Everyone calm down. Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. TMZ. So in white, this is 50. And he's throwing his hands up. He's kind of seems agitated. Guy's trying to take his mic. He kind of hit the guy's hand away. Okay, he has a mic again. So obviously it looks like his mic isn't working. Boom! Yikes. All right. So it looks like he was throwing it at maybe the production team. What do you think? Oh, we lost you. We lost you on the volume. What do you think?
Yeah, he was that's what the response was. He wasn't trying to, his attorney was saying that he didn't have any intention to strike anybody with a microphone, but I think he was throwing it at his production team. Because like there was a couple instances where the mic wasn't working. They kept trying to get it out. He was trying to come out and whatever. And there's nothing an artist hates more that when they're coming out and they're already started rapping and their mic doesn't work. It's not a good look. And it looks like he was taking it out on the production team.
No,
I don't know. You
to
can't really tell. Yeah.
To Eric's point, sorry to cut you off. To Eric's point, he's like that was a really hard throw. I agree, and that was right. So we started with Cardi B when she kind of threw hers. Not to say that she didn't do any kind of harm, but anyway, there are pictures of what happened to this person. I'll bring that up. But in fact, yeah, he's a big dude. So let's go over and see if we can get this to load.
Yeah, the pictures are pretty crazy.
Yeah, so a little warning, guys, for those of you who are sensitive. Here we go. All right, so this was the woman who, unfortunately, the microphone actually hit, and there's a pretty large gouge here on her forehead. Obviously, you see a lot of blood, or I assume to be blood, on her face and on her shirt.
That was insane. Like that was, hard hit. And the thing is, her name is Brianna Monaghan, and she is actually a Power 106 radio host out there in LA. So, she wasn't just like a regular fan. And apparently there was one of 50's people that was connected with them, I guess, told TMZ that she was in a restricted area. So like almost like kind of blaming her for being in the wrong place. I don't know why he would be throwing his mic down there anyway. But I don't really buy all of that, because if she's a Power 106 radio host, I'm sure that she was fine being in the restricted areas, because you get access to all those areas when you are that. So
Yeah, so I don't know if they're preemptively, because you can have a civil lawsuit where she sues him personally.
Oh,
You can
sure.
have the criminal investigation. So right now he is a suspect. When you have, essentially and in fact, there was a good question. How is how is this different from the Cardi B situation? It's not, right? You just have
Well,
a bigger, stronger guy. And as far as criminal battery, we're talking about, the application of unlawful, whether direct or indirect force. If you are throwing something where you was it intentional in Cardi B's situation, maybe we say she was intending to actually throw it
yeah,
in someone's face.
yeah.
Here, at least what 50 is claiming and his team is claiming is that he was maybe throwing it at the production team and then it hit this person by accident. So then, you have negligence claims.
Yeah, like maybe he just can't throw straight or something. You know what I mean? Like wherever he was trying to hit, or he just threw it wildly, not expecting, where it would go. Um, but I think the different, like, I was actually surprised that Cardi B didn't have any charges, because in that situation was a little different, because she was inviting fans to, drench her with water and get her all
Right.
wet. And then that was all fine. And then I guess, a little bit later, somebody else also splashed her with water, and that she didn't like. And then she threw it. So I'm not exactly sure why she got off, actually. But as far as this is concerned, I mean, at the very, and I don't think the injuries to that person were that bad, but this person has a hole in their head, and you know, there's no way that he's going to get off the hook for something. I don't know about criminal charges, but at least, like, definitely on the hook for, paying. If I'm sure, I would imagine, if that were me and, I lost my temper and I threw a microphone out into the, wild, and I saw that lady's picture and what happened to her, I would be horrified. And I would probably try to do anything I could to make it right and just apologize and anything that you need. And the fact that she's a Power 106, DJ or whatever, that means she kind of has a voice too. And I don't know if that was a good person to hit. So,
It's a very good point. So anyway, as this develops and whether, she actually brings some kind of civil claim against him, yet to be seen, but we will be sure to cover it. All right. So did
mics
you
on
see
stage.
what's up?
Keep the mics on stage.
That's right. Did you see Doja Cat? She premiered her new cover art for Scarlet, and it was this super cool looking spider kind of thing, and it went super viral. So what happened?
Yeah, so she has her album coming out, Scarlet, on September 22nd. And the cover, were you gonna pull it up?
Yeah, so I'm trying to find the original cover. We have
So
the updated cover, which I can show you guys.
yeah,
So
hold on there. Let me. Oh, I didn't put it. I'm dropping the ball left and right, but I can pull that up. Hold on.
yeah,
Okay.
this artist that I'm looking at right now, the artist who made this is pretty trippy.
So hold on, I'm about to share my screen for it because I got it right here. Just the comparison. So that's the cover art that Doja Cat is releasing, is or released, as far as like saying anticipation for her album coming out. And then the other band is Shaver, and they are a German metal band, and they also are releasing the same artwork. They've been using this artist, his name is Dusty Ray, and he has been, the graphic designer for Shaver since I think like 2019. So he's been working with them for a long time. And then, yeah, so you could see a little bit of the differences. You got the blood drop at the top of Doja Cat's, looks like kind of like a teardrop shape, and the other one is more of a, just kind of like a regular drop, not so much artsy or shapely, but yeah,
And then let's take a look at this artist's profile and some of the stuff that he
really
posts.
cool.
And a little further down, you'll see the spider art, which will be the new version of the cover that Doja Cat released. All right, so here's you'll see this here momentarily. All right, and so then this is the updated Scarlet cover. So what do you think? Did they scramble?
I think it brings up a lot of interesting questions, because Doja Cat, as soon because this thing went viral as soon as, she posted something, it went viral everywhere that it was, like, the same exact cover art, um, and, just hours after that, she took it down. She took down her announcement of the post, and then she put this up today. So, but with no explanation. So, I don't know if, the artist, or if she knew that the artist was double dipping in the artwork. I don't know if she was aware of it. So it just kind of just brings up a lot of questions about what was in their contracts, what was in their agreements for even, doing the deal with the graphic designer for exclusivity. But I bet you this probably happens a lot, but just with social media, people are on it right away. And I mean, this guy has a lot of followers, and the artwork is really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. Here, I shared it without the audio. Hopefully you can
Yeah.
comment. So here's the spider again.
So when did he drop that spider in
Well,
his
we see
post?
it there's been multiple posts of this, but this was April 11th, and
Right,
I'm
so
still
that was a
and
long time ago, and she just kinda scrambled. That must have been, like, a second choice. It's odd that it's, on his site before. I would think that even with that kinda stuff, I'd be like, "Can you create me an original one?" But it's
yeah,
very
that's
cool.
yeah, that's interesting. He definitely has a certain
Mhm.
style and, he's definitely gonna get some additional publicity from all of this, which is never a bad thing. So, yeah. So, in any case, then the follow-up question to all of this is then what does this mean, right? So then my question would be, the contract that they had with this artist, you know, did they know? Was he allowed to use the
Right,
same cover art? Because he's double dipping,
right.
and he's getting paid from multiple different companies and artists to use the same picture. So
And
I'm
that's
sure someone's
pretty
pissed
embarrassing, and
either
that's pretty
way.
embarrassing for
Yeah,
Doja Cat. I mean,
yeah.
just, whatever, and I'm surprised that she just went with, maybe her second choice when she was deciding on which spiders she liked when he was giving her options. So I don't know if it was like one of those kind of things, but I think it's just weird because I'd be kind of bummed out. I'd be kind of bummed out. I mean, it brought a lot of attention to the Chopper band because they are, now being kind of associated with Doja Cat and the controversy. They're keeping their spider cover. They've already done their pre-release. Their albums are coming. It's weird because their albums are coming out, I think, the week apart from each other. So I
Yeah.
think so. It's all around the same timing. I mean, he knowingly did that. So I don't know. It's just it's kind of
Well,
it's
and I just wonder, maybe this artist just didn't think about it, but if you're doing anything for an artist as big as Doja Cat, that it just wasn't really a smart move
right.
because if he was trying to do a quick kind of gotcha, whatever, it's a quick buck, he doesn't really care.
Local
You're
band
not
in
gonna have
Philly, local band in like Chicago, and then like nobody will notice, but like Doja Cat.
Well, you're just not gonna have a repeat customer. And
Right.
in fact, I'm surprised that they went back to him and just
Yeah,
used a different picture because if it was me, again, the embarrassment kind of thing,
yeah.
I might just go with someone else entirely. So again, I don't know all the back workings of this, and maybe someone just didn't know and he didn't think about it, and they didn't make it required as exclusive. So just maybe an ouchie to the legal team. Who knows?
I just think it's always kind of funny when you see, when you see that these artists are just people too, and these labels are just people too, and they make major mistakes, just like you might make a major mistake by spelling your song name wrong or whatever. They didn't get their proper clearances or get all their ducks in a row and making sure that this thing was exclusive or have that conversation for a major artist like Doja Cat is kind of crazy. Very cool. I like her little artwork. It's cool.
Yeah, I love her hair. I feel like she's rocking what every chick secretly wishes that they could do at some point. You have to be really brave, I think, to shave your head. She looks great.
That's what I'm
All
saying.
right. So Doja Cat, new album coming out very soon, new artwork. All right. So uh I think the internet is trying desperately to keep up. It is. And we're powering through. So let's move on. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's switch gears. We've been talking about Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, and she's set to make in the billions of dollars by the time she's
So much
done.
money.
Fans are loving the show, and we've been covering and doing even music video reactions on this channel for the first time, which is a ton of fun. So the newest update is that Taylor and her team got together and they're like, you know what the Swifties would like? I think they would like to watch the show on the big screen. So AMC Theaters is teaming up across North America, and this is in October. And I think it's specifically October 13th. And so they will be doing the 3-hour performance, Taylor Swift, the entire thing. And then I think don't guests get like special popcorn and drinks, and it's gonna be
Yeah,
like a whole experience.
they're gonna have Taylor Swift popcorn buckets and cups, and Taylor's encouraging everybody to bring their little friendship bracelets and just Swifty out. I can't even imagine how crazy that these showings of it, and it's gonna run Thursdays through Sundays at every AMC location in America. I was gonna share that's the Swifty bucket, the Taylor Swift bucket, and the cup. So you could get your
That's fun.
collectible Taylor Swift stuff. Very cool. Um, yeah, and it's not a bad price. It's only gonna be about $20 a ticket and 14 if you're a kid or a senior. So it's a lot cheaper than if you had paid the $1,000 or that you spent for your outfit and all your stuff. But I'm sure these $20 tickets are gonna be like I'm spending $300 on a Taylor Swift movie because I got to have an outfit for the Taylor Swift movie because it's gonna be an event. It's gonna be crazy.
Now, you made a good point when we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and you go, it's gonna be insane for
Insane.
anyone who is in a close by
Oh my
theater,
god.
the
Yeah.
the volume of noise that will be coming out of the theater, and I agree. So,
It's
I
gonna
we
rat
actually
hole.
both used to work at movie theaters at different points, and so for me, it was my first job, and it was actually my only job, I think, where I worked for someone else, but in any case, I'm working in the theater, and the power went down because it was monsoon season. And what we did is everyone had to stay in their seats, and I was overseeing one of the theaters that had like 300 plus people in it. And so what we ended up doing is I went in, I was like kind of like yelling at the top of my lungs so everyone could hear me. And I'm like, it's gonna be okay. We're working on it because I was a team leader, you know. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. And it was right around I think July 4th, or it was July 4th weekend. So I go, all right, guys, this is what we're gonna do. And I just kind of took charge. I'm like, this is what we're gonna do. I'm 16 years old in my little bow tie. This is what we're gonna do. and and I go, let's sing a song. I'll take lead. This must have been my moment to shine. And so like I started singing at the top of my lungs. There's like Star Spangled Banner or something like that. And I got the whole theater to join in, which was just like
That's fun.
comforting to everyone because we're sitting there in darkness. So like it was a little bit scary. And so we're all singing or whatever, but again, to the volume thing, everyone in the other theaters could hear us. So in the same kind of way, I think that Taylor Swifties,
I'm telling you,
like it's gonna be so loud.
and you've already heard reports at concerts where like it felt like there was an earthquake around because these kids go so nuts. And I'm just imagining like I remember working at a record stores back in the day, and there was this group called Insane Clown Posse, and they were doing an in-store, and their kids lined up like crazy, all the juggalos and stuff. And they ended up like setting like fires in the alley and just going crazy. Like it was wild. It was wild. But I'm just thinking on the other end with these, Taylor Swift fans that are just going, they're going to destroy that theater. That bathroom is going to go crazy. It is going to be the craziest mob that I think that, AMC has seen in a long time, just from the type of fans that are going to be going to this, because it's gonna be like a Taylor Swift convention in there. Like, it's gonna be so nuts. The
Yeah, but
perfume is gonna
AMC,
be off the charts. Like,
I
it's gonna be embedded in the walls.
I know movie going has going a lot. It's gotten a lot better,
Yes.
like following COVID, and some people are still nervous. They don't really go back to theaters. And I'm just like neurotic, but not even about
Yeah.
COVID. I'm neurotic about going to movie theaters over other things like bed bugs and
Bed
lice. And
bugs.
anyway, but this is good. I think this will be really, this will
Are you
be
shocked that it's not in, like, IMAX? There's not, like, a random IMAX showing? I've seen concert films. I saw the Rolling Stones, concert film in IMAX. That was awesome. That was an awesome experience to see when you get those really good, sound systems and stuff in there, which, I'm sure these AMCs are gonna be hitting that Dolby or whatever it is now. So it's going to sound really cool, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious, and at $20 a ticket, that thing's going to sell out like nuts forever. You're going to end up finding if I don't know what the run is supposed to end to, because it just says it starts on Friday, October 13th, but it doesn't say how long it's going to run.
Right.
I mean, this could be like the movie of the year. Look out, Barbie, kind of stuff with these Swifties. Look how much they've already
That's
spent.
interesting. That's
And I mean,
interesting.
a concert thing kind of has more rewatchability than a movie where it's just kind of like a script and the story. You're already listening to these songs all the time. It's experiences that you can go with your friends. You're like, oh, dude, I went to Taylor's. It could be like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, let's go to every Saturday at midnight. We go see a Taylor Swift concert. Like, I could see her having such an impact and even help to revitalize the AMC theaters in a major way, because she just has that kind of power.
Well, and if it will be done right, it will be successful. And you're right, it could even start a whole new trend for, record labels that are and Live Nation, right? And these performance
Well,
promoter
they
companies.
try to do them already, but I don't think any of them
I know,
are.
but not at this level.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, because I'm trying to think of what that. It's like a Phantom Events, I think, is the name of the company. They do stuff like this. They'll do random concerts in theaters and stuff. Like on a Tuesday, you can go see some show or something. Some artists will do that, but nobody's at the level of Taylor Swift as far as just getting butts in seats, quite literally. I think it's going to be way huger than people are even expecting it to be. That's my prediction.
All right, so it sounds like that Orko and I will see you at Taylor Swift AMC. Hey. All right, so Space Jam. An epic song, and I kind of went in and did some deep investigating today because I needed to know something. So I'm going to tell you guys what happened, because I reached out to the company we're about to talk about here. So Space Jam, it's obviously an anthem at this point. Bugs Bunny,
Michael
huge
Jordan.
movie, Michael Jordan. So Watson Music Group is the owner of the Space Jam song. And they've been kind of on this legal rampage to enforce their rights. And now they're suing. They're suing left, right, and center. Anyone who's infringing. They've updated their website, and on the website it says you better get a license. And there's like little Q&As, and it's like, if you want to use it or can I use it on social media? No, you have to get a license. And I even went and looked. I go, well, here, I'm going to add a story on Instagram. And I tried adding the song just to see. I was like, well, if it's on there licensed, obviously I could use it. They don't even have it there. So they haven't distributed it to Facebook, so you can even use it in your stories. They want you to license it. So I emailed them today in anticipation of this story. And I said, hello, Watson Music Group. And I emailed them from my law firm, because that tends to get a higher response rate, because
Right.
It's a lawyer. I'm an entertainment lawyer. And I go, I'm interested in licensing the song. This would be used in a documentary. I want to use it for 45
Mhm.
seconds. We're going to submit it for, and I just gave them a list. I'm like, we're going to use it for X, Y, and Z. And I go, can you give me a breakdown of what the pricing would be? And I actually got a response very quickly. And I'll make sure to put this on the screen so you guys can see it's real life. But the response said, hi, Krystle. In fact, let me pull this up so I can actually read it to you guys. I'm not going to show you my email. But they responded and said that they don't have the rights to the master, and those are owned by Atlantic. And so since they only represent the publishing, I would actually need to reach out to Atlantic, which contact information they don't have. And when I got that back, I was like, Yeah, so I'm sorry, I don't have the direct contact to Atlantic. Let me know how it goes. And so that was interesting to me, because if they're trying to do this to enforce the rights, and they're trying to make sure to get all the money and get the licensing and this and that, okay. I literally came to you and said, I have money and I want to pay. And he goes,
with the grandstanding.
yeah. And he goes, reach out to Atlantic. I don't have the information. Now, guys, just so you know, this is typically how it goes with licensing music. You usually have two companies. You have the one that owns the master, the final recorded version, and you have the one that owns the publishing, which has the rights to the composition. And you need to get the okay from both. But if you're not set up to actually do licensing, don't be like, contact us for the licensing.
Well, no, and
So
making it whole your whole brand identity is this song. You're putting up all these notices. You're sending letters out to people that are using it and issuing takedown notices to people to videos that have been up for years upon years upon years and haven't even haven't decided whether or not you're going to be going about individual people, content creators that have used it. You know what I mean? Like it's
well, and so one of the I told you they've filed now 3 federal lawsuits, and so federal lawsuit usually means there's a federal question, so copyright infringement likely, because they say we own the music. So one of the unfortunate defendants is the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, which is a minor league baseball affiliate uh,
of the Brewers. Yeah.
of the Brewers. And I looked them up today because as of Tuesday, they still had this video up where they have the song playing, and I think it's like they see their mascot dunking,
Mm.
and they still had it up. So guys, what we're talking about is this is the risk. If you don't have the rights to a certain song and you put it in your video and you put it on social media, and now someone's waiting to kind of for the
Yeah.
gotcha moment, and then they get it, and then they're suing you. So, anyway, I thought it was kind of
You
interesting because, and not to put them on blast, but I did actually reach out just to see what the count was, and I was surprised.
we've talked about this a lot about how like social media is kind of like the Wild West as far as what content creators are kind of getting away with when they're doing their own mashups, their own remixes, when businesses are using, Bruno Mars songs for their advertisements, because they're making a reel and they're using the songs, but Bruno Mars is not endorsing, the product or anything like that. So people are just kind of taking liberties. And while, there's going to be some artists and some songwriters that are not going to be okay with that. They're way more protective of their work and what happens to it, especially if they spent, tons of money just acquiring, this company right here acquired, the Space Jam rights from the Quad City DJs. So, it's one of those things where it's like, I paid for this stuff. Now I want it to start earning for me. Like how there's, we see these companies that are buying the rights to all these songs. They're not buying them to not make money from the songs. Like
Well, right,
it's
and that's my point. I'm like, if I was representing this company, I'd probably give them a little bit of a hard time about this because I go, if you own an asset that you're actively trying to make
right.
money from, if you have someone who reaches out with an inquiry of, I would like to pay you money to license the song, have a relationship with Atlantic already set
Mm.
up, have the contact. So, because a lot of times what the publisher does is they just match and they go, you can get a master use license from us. So we'll match whatever you pay Atlantic, you're going to pay us, and then you have the song. So anyway, the fact that you're not set up for that, you are literally losing money, and I'm wondering why then you're doing this.
But they're threatening all kinds of things, like on their website and stuff. They're telling you kind of what's going to happen, like with their frequently asked questions and all kinds of stuff. And they even say their website, we don't want to, we don't want to like sue you for $150,000 for using, for infringing on our copyrights or whatever. They said that we'd rather save you the expense and worry of litigation by have you work with us to resolve this matter outside the courts by issuing a retroactive license. So they're asking for all of this stuff on their website. You go to the website and that's all that it is. It's just like, hey, this is how you get Space Jam. This is how whatever. So it's so weird that you go, okay, cool, let me get Space Jam. Sorry, brah, don't know how to do it. I can't help you. So what's the point?
So we will end it on Space Jam owner. What's the point? Yo, they're gonna email me after they see this.
You sons of bitches.
That's okay. Whatever. You know what? We don't wake up every day to be liked. We have to imagine if everyone on the planet was gone, what would
I
you
just
do
think
with
it's
your life?
incredibly interesting, and what's going to happen with these lawsuits. You know what I mean? Like, is it going to end up setting some kind of precedent because some other people are going to get ideas, and you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't. I just it's just weird that they're doing it.
Yeah. All right, so we are gonna let's circle back to talk about the album artwork thing. So Doja Cat recently went viral because she dropped the cover art to her upcoming album, and then it just so happened to be the exact same cover art as another band and their album that's coming up. So Doja Cat and her team quickly scrambled, they found new cover art, and now that's the new cover art for her album. So then when it comes to, well, how do we have an airtight contract with the person who's designing our cover art so that we don't have these kind of double dipping, so the graphic designer or the artist is does selling the same picture to multiple people? We're going to cover that in today's video. So let's just jump in really fast and talk about the scope of the work. And we're actually discussing this with a student today about when you give direction to someone and you go, obviously you're the artist, the graphic designer, the painter, they're the artist. And you go, what I'm thinking is, let's pretend we're Doja Cat. I'm thinking I really want like a spider or maybe a couple of spiders, and I want to have like a droplet of blood. So that's kind of what I think. Go make it. And now, ultimately, you can't control what the final product is, but you can give references and be like, this is, kind of what I want it to look like. You need to still define what the actual scope of work is and what the product is. Because if you don't have them deliver something that you like, or let's say they deliver a hamster with a blood drop, you're like, that's not what our contract said. You have to make sure it's actually in the contract.
Yeah, it's just all just clarity, just having conversations with people. Like you're not this is your art. This is your cover art is the first piece of a glimpse into what your music is going to sound like. It's the first thing that people are going to see. Even when they're searching you on Spotify, they'll see your cover art and they're going to try to get the vibe. You want to get the vibe right. So you need to be clear on what it is you're looking for and make sure that your artist understands it, whether it's your cover art, whether it's your website, whether it's anything that you're doing.
Agreed. All right, so then exclusivity. So in the instance of Doja Cat and her cover art, in the agreement that they had with this guy, maybe they didn't have an agreement. You never know. I don't care who it is. I represent some of the biggest artists around the world, and they still do handshake deals. And they don't have like it's crazy. So let's pretend they didn't even have a contract. Well, you do want to get a contract because then you should say, hey, if you're making my super great album cover art, you can't use this for any other reason than you can post it on your website. You can promote yourself and say, hey, I made this thing for Doja Cat, but that's it. You're not allowed to also sell it to this other band who's going to release an album on the same day as me.
I mean, that's the whole point. You want to have your original work. You want to have your exclusive covers. You want to have your images and your logos. Like you want to have your deal so you can sell t-shirts with it and it really kind of exploit whatever it is that you're doing it. You're thinking this is your marketing. This is your you can't have a Pepsi logo and then have, another energy drink down the line or something with the Pepsi logo. Like
No,
it's
you can't.
what
I
are you talking about?
object.
You need some chocolate.
We need some chocolate.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so then let's actually talk about the usage rights. All right. So if you're the artist and you happen to be watching this, you want to define how the person uses your picture. So this is a really smart way for you to make money. And then conversely, if you're the artist, a way for you to avoid having to pay additional fees. But basically, if you negotiate the uses and you're like, hey, you can use the cover art and put it on your digital album, but you can't use it for vinyls. You can't use it for CDs. And if they do want to do that, they have to come and pay you an additional licensing fee. So this is like just smart kind of business tactics to make more money. But again, define the usage because maybe someone makes it into a t-shirt, right? If now I'm the artist, right? So meaning the graphic designer or the painter, if you are using the picture that you
Mm.
licensed from me for your album art, but you're putting it on t-shirts and you're making hats and I'm not getting kickback. Again, if it's not in the agreement, it leaves room for a
Yeah.
dispute. So this is something we definitely want to cover.
And you're going to want to do those things. So you want to have it for your own protection. So you have the freedom. I mean, you can't just go, I won't bring it up. I'll just do it and we'll see what happens. Like, you could end up at some point, creating something really cool. So think of a group like what was that group? Him, and they had that heartogram logo, right? that whatever. And then Bam started using the Heartagram logo or something like that. They both started kind of using it, but that became like a whole brand into itself, which is like that Heartagram logo. And you never know if you want to, work out those deals and those conversations ahead of time, especially if you get something really cool.
Yeah, and then also with payments, right? So specifically, you want to try to, if you're the graphic designer, you want to give as much money upfront as possible. The reason you do this is because after you've already done the work,
Mm,
maybe they take it and run with it and you don't want to sue them and they haven't paid you, who knows? Conversely, if you're the person paying the money, if they don't deliver something you like, again, it was supposed to be a spider, they delivered a hamster, and you gave them all the money, you're
mhm.
kind of ass
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So here's my suggestion, pay half upfront to secure the relationship, and then you'll pay the other half once they've delivered the final product and have that in your agreement.
Absolutely. That kind of seems like a no-brainer, but a lot of people don't because they're very nervous in making any kind of business or transactional deals
Right.
sometimes with people, especially with like creatives and stuff, or if they really respect somebody, or this goes for any kind of field. It's not just, exclusive to art, but just anything that you're doing in those kind of things, like, money deposits understood. But then yeah, final payment on delivery.
Yeah, and then also make sure you outline the timeline, right? Are you paying someone to get you something in a year? Are you paying to get it to you in 6 months? Like for me,
Oof.
I'm usually like as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So if you can set an actual timeline that will help you to move things along.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's another thing that, people don't necessarily, they feel like, oh, they just were here. We just did an 8-hour video shoot. And like, I don't want to harass them. How soon are they going to get it to me? That's why you should just have it discussed ahead of time. So and that's just a simple question. Like, so what's your general turnaround when you're talking to people, and then kind of
That's
get it
right.
and then put it in the agreement. Like there's ways that you can not seem pushy and just like super eager. I know producers kind of hate it when you're in a session and they're like, oh, just give me the demo real quick after they just record something. Just give me something I can take home. And like, it's not mixed. It doesn't sound right. There's no, it sounds great. It's like people get real eager beaver.
Do you mean when the artist? I think he's talking about me because whenever we're done with
Oh, no, not
music,
you. I'm talking about other artists. You're not as bad. You kind of were like that in the beginning, but no, I know
I
now you
always
just
tell you
want
to
it the
send
next
me
day. Yeah,
demos.
you
What's wrong
you
with
always
you?
want it. You always want it by the next morning so
Better
you can
send me a
listen to it.
damn demo. So in practical kind of application for the stuff that we're talking about, take control. If you are hiring someone, sorry, you're the boss.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
I'm the boss. If I can be the boss, you're the boss. So if you hire someone, just be clear. You don't have to be a dick about it, but you can just be like, here's my specifications. I really want this in this certain amount of time. Here's what I'm looking for. This is what I'm willing to pay. No, sorry, I'm not going to pay you all the money up front, even though you
yes,
want it, but I will meet you halfway. I'll pay you half now, half later. And then, try to have in your contract something in regards to termination. So if for some reason you do need to fire the person, two things. One, you should always require a copy of the actual Photoshop session
right,
or Pro Tools, like, or whatever thing that is being edited,
right,
have the actual session, right? Project so that you can edit it yourself. That's number one. But number two, that your contract says you own the thing. It should always say you're going to own the thing under copyright law. And even if you fire the person, even if you terminate the contract or the relationship, you are still going to own it. Please do this.
absolutely. And going to your point of, it's in anything you want. If you're working with a producer, if you're working with a mixer, and they're not, giving you the product they want, or they're giving you pushback. I've had situations where, I've kind of had to eat the cost and I just kind of paid them anyway and I moved on, but I never worked with them again and made sure that everything was kind of clear, the expectation. Some artists and if you're doing a music video, some directors or whatever, they won't necessarily want, or editors won't want to give you their products. They don't want to show you their secret sauce. A lot of times, if you don't have the plugins, it's not going to work anyway. So you can kind of make concessions. But like even for music videos, I make sure that we get all of the raw footage of everything, to have backed up in case there's a problem with the editor down the line. I didn't just lose my whole product on a project, or now I have to wait weeks to whenever he's available to come pick up a drive that has it, if everything's even on there, because now there's some kind of weird thing. Always plan for that stuff, and kind of cover yourself and make decisions on what you're willing to live without and what you are And sometimes it's just not going to be a good fit with that producer, with that graphic artist, because they're just not cool with it. And that's understandable. Cool. So just move on and find somebody that is, because you need to protect your work. This is for your project. It doesn't do you any good if you can't.
That's right. So question, how does it work with royalty-free images? Is that all fair game? Depends. So if you were to get royalty-free images, stock photos, stock pictures, whatever, and you were to get it, let's say, from an online platform like Pixels or Unsplash. So you sign up, you pay a subscription, or Splice if you're a music producer. You
Right.
pay a subscription fee. It's royalty free because you're getting a license to use it. Please make sure you read the terms of use, because a lot of times they'll be like, sure, you can use the picture, no big deal. But then you read the terms and it's like, hey, FYI, you
Right.
cannot use this in your commercial stuff.
Right.
You can use it for your personal use. You can use it to promote yourself. You can't use it in the song that you are selling. Or right. So sort of, if it's royalty free, the idea is that you are not having to pay anything for it. You don't have to get copyright clearances. It just depends on where you're getting it from, who actually owns it
Right.
and is giving you this license.
And
All right.
don't be surprised. And just don't be surprised if if you're just using royalty free stuff, or, whatever, and then you kind of come into a hiccup. Well, like, just don't be surprised and prepared for that. So make sure that when you're using this stuff, you're kind of at least altering it. I guess that's more for like splice samples and stuff. You're kind of doing more altering of things. Because what happens is, especially when you're using loops, is when this stuff gets uploaded to, DSPs or just, YouTube or whatever, and you like Shazam it, your song sometimes won't even come up, because, if you're just taking a straight up loop, somebody else has already claimed that loop. So same thing with YouTube videos. But
Yeah, and guys, I mean, even in the videos that we post on this channel, we often use B-roll. So we have stock pictures and videos that kind of showcase the artist in the studio or whatever. And so that's through a program, not a program, a platform that we have paid
right.
to use the licensed media. And so again, read the terms of service and
But
on
just
what it's
do it
worth.
right. Just do it
Yeah.
right. Just don't just take stuff.
Right. Don't go to Google. But it's royalty free on Google. No, that's not quite how it works. So when you are crafting an airtight contract so that you are protected when it comes to hiring graphic designers and painters and different people who are helping with your artwork in any kind of way, have an agreement first and foremost. But the things we've talked about in this video specifically have all that stuff in your contract. All right, good stuff there.
We did it.
We did do it. Now, you have to do a wrap up. Where's your great music?
Oh, we're still on that. We're still on that train. Let me see.
Yeah, you guys enjoy his ASMR wrap up, and then we're gonna watch a video. So hang around. I think we have a new video.
Sorry, I never get the right music. I gotta get some royalty, or some royalty free music from one of our companies.
That's right.
These songs are just terrible.
They're a little bit not good.
They're a lot bit not good. What are you talking about? A little bit terrible.
What's better?
That's a problem when you have like the royalty free music. All right, guys, let's talk about it. So let's plug some stuff up while Miss Krystle gets some sippies of water and such. First of all, I want to always tell you guys about the podcast. I need you guys listening on all streaming platforms where you can get podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Apple or Amazon Music. We are there. We are dropping 2 episodes every week, on Mondays and on Fridays. So make sure that you get those listened to on your drive to work and step your game up. Don't forget that we also have that TMA merch. We have shirts, we have mugs, we have stickers, all kinds of stuff. So you want to let people know that you are serious about your music education. That's there for you. And I think the other thing I just really want you to drive home, the most important, is the TMA weekly newsletter that Miss Krystle puts out. It's so good. It's jam-packed with all the highlights from the week, some behind the scenes stuff, information on, what she has going on and coming up, exclusive offers for, if you want to try to get into one of our student huddles or some of the other programs that we offer. We have all kinds of stuff happening in the TMA newsletter, topmusicattorney.com. /newsletter. Let's you.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. See you guys later.
So, do I allow sampling of my music? Well, yeah. Depends. Of course. Depends on what you want to do.
Who wants to
Uh-oh.
sample it?
Uh-oh.
Who's trying to sample? Is the song good? If the song's good, we can talk.
All right.
And if you have a budget and if you're paying, obviously.
You heard it from Mr. Producer. That's not entirely true. It's not entirely true. Like if you're sampling for your own thing, you probably will, license it out. But like for example, if someone wants to use one of my songs for like one of their YouTube videos as background music or something, sometimes I just, let them and just do a simple little license. So it just depends. Yes. Bye, Orko. Hi, Orko. Yeah, he likes to just jump on in. He was supposed to be at the beginning of the show with me, but he's just trying to get all I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the internet. We're trying to figure it out. So, I got through the whole show, and what I do after the show is I do 1-minute summaries of the stories. So if you guys do follow on social media and you see the summaries of the stories, I do that right afterwards. And so that way there's like a 1-minute, conclusion. And so we'll be talking about 50 Cent, Doja Cat, and all the things. But anyway, I just want to say thank you guys very much for being here. It's a lot of fun that we do this every week. And, I think that as we continue to grow this and kind of get a groove and a rhythm, we're figuring out what we like, and we like you, and we like you being here. I feel like we're on like a dating channel or something. I gotta share. I like long walks on the gravel and chocolate. I was watching someone and they're like talking about toughening up. I'll end with this. They were talking about how if you lie on the ground, like, tile or something, a really hard surface, and if it's painful, my producer's rolling his eyes at me right now. And if it's really painful, and he's like, I noticed that. And he goes, I'm like this big buff guy. I work out. I'm a bodybuilder. And he goes, the fact that I can't sit on a hard floor, kind of weird. And so he goes, I basically started sleeping on essentially tile other than just this little soft mattress. And he goes, what I realized is that there's so much pressure happening from the ground that it's pushing against all the tension that's in your body. And so as it's pushing against the tension over the course of, if you sleep for 8 hours, you're essentially getting a massage from the floor for 8 hours. And so he goes, the first couple of nights, you might wake up and you're kind of hurting, and it's because you were just massaged by the ground for 8 hours. Anyway, so where I was going with that is that I don't like almost ever, I never go barefoot. I'm always wearing socks. I'm always wearing shoes. And you really need to connect with the floor. But also, he's like, you need to toughen up. So I think I need to go walk around barefoot, and then also to walk on gravel and things to like toughen up my feet. So that's why I say on my dating profile here on Top Music Attorney, I like long walks on the gravel and chocolate. So make sure you come and follow on Miss Krystle. I've been posting a lot of stuff in regards to like my music and trying things. And so if you are an artist or someone just trying to figure out your own content, maybe you can learn something from the stuff that I'm trying, because I definitely am crunched on time all the time. And I definitely, make it a point to post across like, I don't know, 28 different platforms between all my different, businesses and social media platforms and stuff like that. So anyway, maybe you guys can learn something from what I'm doing. And then in the meantime, if you like dark pop music, check out Miss Krystle on all platforms. Yeah, earthing. You know what I'm saying? I like to earth in the gravel. But then I like there's grassy areas around, but people take their dogs there. So then that's my hang up. That's genuinely my hang up, because they're like, every day you should, take off your socks, go walking on the grass, connect with the earth, ground yourself. And then I go in those areas and I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. So I'm working through that. The lawyerette. I was asked to go on a dating show, on a lawyer dating show, and so it was going to be like all, you know, powerhouse lawyer women trying to figure out their romantic lives and stuff like that. And I was dating at the time. So I was like, I don't think I can do that. How much are you paying? Yeah. Grass is too much. Yes. All right, guys. I love your faces. Thank you very much for being here. Message me on Instagram on Top Music Attorney if you need help with your music business, your career. Let me know what you're doing, and we'll see what we can do. We're gonna watch a music video. What do you got for me, Mr. Orko? I told him something new I wanted to try, but I didn't know if you had time to do it.
Yeah, God only knows for y'all.
Hey, all right. So we're gonna God only knows it's a cover, and so we're going to watch that together. I will be in the chat. I'll see you next week. Hit it.
I may not always love you, as long as there are stars above you. You'll never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, the life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, the life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without you. God only knows what I'd be without